What is up, you amazing people? It is I, Nima, and today I want to talk about a game that I've been playing for quite a while now, and it is a novel-style game, which y'all know I'm not like a huge fan of, but it's really good, this one. Anyway, before we get into the game though, I do want to remind you guys to please hit that like and subscribe button. Both of those things really help the channel out, and I appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. So anyway, on to the game, Beacon Pines. Now, this game, to me, would be a game I wouldn't even be interested in, honestly. Like, the art style looks really cutesy. Now, it's really good, like, very defined, and the graphics look beautiful. But, I don't know, it looks, like I said, kind of cutesy, kind of a game that, like, I would suggest my child play. Again, doesn't look like anything too rough around the edges or anything that engaging. But I could not be further from the truth with this game, because this game is actually really interesting, and it tells a variety of different stories. Like, this whole game is incredibly multi-layered. Now, again, there is no combat, so it is restricted in that manner, but what does lack in combat, it actually makes up for in its novel, interactive, story-type gameplay, meaning that they tried out the ability to choose what you say as a full, like, phrase or a crossroads like a lot of games do, but instead you'll find just specific words that are found about by interacting with people, by interacting with things, having certain conversations, but these words will come up. Even if you read certain books and stuff, you'll find a word. Now, these words can be implemented in the game at specific times where gigantic changes can happen, like literally massive changes. I can say this, it goes from the aspect of you having dinner with a new friend, or you basically poison the entire town with a form of mutanism, if you will. Yeah, I know. It's drastically different depending on, and it's just one word. It's just one thing you do. And this gives you these options throughout the entire game. And you play as Luca Van Horn, a cute little deer who lives with his grandma. And it starts off simple enough as you're playing with your friend, and you're gonna go to your treehouse and just kind of get in some trouble, have some fun. It's a summer day. You're out just doing what kids do. But you're also interested in an area of the village a little off the beaten path, but a very important part to the village or town, and that is this fertilizer factory. Now, essentially, the owner of the fertilizer factory is the one who established the town and also allowed the town to be so prosperous in a time when there wasn't a lot available. And due to this fertilizer factory, the town is able to thrive and have festivals, and everyone's able to eat, and everyone has jobs. So it all works out that a lot of people really support this fertilizer factory. Now, the problem is, though, is this factory happens to emit a lot of this green goo that tends to do weird things to living creatures, even non-living creatures, like a stick. If they put a stick into it, it'll grow flowers, and the flowers will immediately die. That's something you find out in one of the chapters. So, as you're investigating this, a gigantic crossroads can happen. You can branch off into one of two options. One of them is a very dark road, and the other one, a little bit lighter. Now, all of these things, though, are birthed from your decisions and the words that you use. Now, sometimes you'll only have the option to go with the darker path. Now, sometimes this game will end with you dying and you'll have to restart from another point. Now, other times you'll have to go down the dark path quite a while before you discover other words. Then you have to go back to the point where it branched off and use the other words that you found to create a different path. So you will eventually beat the game, and you will eventually hear the story, but you have to see what's wrong before you see what's right in a lot of times. And I think that's a really cool idea, because it really does keep you active and thinking, as well as like just the dialogue in this game. It's really good. I really appreciate the writing. It's written where I think like a young adult and a teenager could appreciate it, but as well as someone who's older can also appreciate the story they're trying to tell, as it's not incredibly super mature, but at the same time it deals with a lot of kind of more mature topics. Like, for instance, your character, his father passed away, and without a notice, your mother left. And so he feels like he's a burden on his grandma, and he's dealing with that day in and day out. One of the characters that you meet, Beck, her moms keep moving because one of them is incredibly intelligent, a very talented chemist. But she feels like she can't just be happy for her mom because she doesn't have any friends, because she doesn't have a place, she doesn't have any roots laid down anywhere, and so she's angry at them. So you have these kind of little interactions back and forth that happen, but they are so quick and they just happen, sporadically. You don't get hung up on too many things, and the game really pushes you forward by just showing how crazy some of the choices that you make can have later on in the story. I really do like this game. Like, this is one of those that I would advise pretty much anyone to check out, just because of the fact that it is short, sweet, but very interesting. And when I say short, I do mean like you're probably putting in 8 to 10 hours. It's hard to tell because I purposely did make wrong choices, and I kind of just wanted to play around. I wanted to see basically how I could break the game and all the options that were available. But it is an incredibly engaging story, almost about like evil corporation screwing over the little town, but the townspeople have their own lives, their own story, and don't sleep on the elderly in this game. They have their own thing going on. So there's a lot going on with this game. Again, I don't want to tell you too much because this game is narrative driven and kind of ruins it if I just tell you the story, but at the same time, not much else to talk about besides graphics and audio, which I will do now. The graphics, like I say, are beautiful. This game is, I don't know, especially in the OLED, this game is outright gorgeous. The audio I also really enjoy. I think the music to this game sounds really good, and it really helps just keep you engaged in the game. Now, ultimately, I would say that this, again, is a game that I would rank maybe a 7.5 out of 10. Like, that high, honestly, for an interactive novel game. Usually, these type of games, I'm just not interested in, but the more and more I play, the more and more I like, and this is one of those I think was just done really well. So, I would definitely suggest picking it up if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence. Hopefully, they'll release a demo or something so people can kind of check it out, although I don't know if that would help, honestly, because most of this game really does come from the fun of trial and error and finding words, which sounds weird to say, but trust me, it's not as crazy as it sounds. And I do want to thank Adam at the Elite Institute for letting me check this game out. He's the one who hooked me up with the code. So check out the Elite Institute. There'll be a link down below where you can check out the site, check out some awesome reviews, but it helps me as well. But anyway, guys, like always, I'm wishing you health, wealth, and above all, I hope you're truly happy because you make me happy. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.